lucky time this video is for you. You can speak out loud with the inside thoughts. It's like a swimming pool coming out of a hose. And like 95% visual. 96% openness to experience. All the rest were average. What's an average for a big five? Breathe a little bit. It's been a while since I've turned the video on. I don't know. What are my intentions? Here I am, talking to two of me, but only one out loud. One said, well, what are your intentions with this video? And the other one said, I don't know. But all we got out loud was, I don't know. You must now fill in the blanks of my inside dialogue. Existence is... What is the answer to that question? That's too open. It's too broad, like popcorn coming out of a car or a dryer. Too broad. What are my intentions with this video? I wasn't even filming a video. Before that I was doing something else. And before that I was doing something else. And before that I think I was doing something else. And before that I was doing something else. And stretched out in front of me there are so many things to do. Things I could be using my body to accomplish. Matter that I could myself move, create, and change. I had friends over from the Ren Fair and I explained something to them for simulation theory about the levels. It's a new concept. I wish I had recorded all of my therapy appointments because I really have a lot of stuff comes to light during that. Like the levels. I explained the levels to someone not Scott. It's like a video game and you've got a heads-up display. If you could pull the heads-up display, part of it would be that you went through levels, and what makes you go through levels is uncomfortable. The things that make you grow and become a person, the things that make you, that change you, those are things that are not comfortable. Those are suffering. Suffering breeds greatness. It wakes you up and increases your levels. Not your level, your experience points. It increases your experience points. Experiences increase your experience points. Put that on a shirt. Experiences increase experience points, and then you, based on catalysts, sometimes as little as New Year's Eve, sometimes as big as 7 years, whole new body, sometimes as big as a near-death experience, but there's a catalyst, and all of these things consolidate and you gain a level. Not experience points, but a level, right? And at some level, you learn the tactics of all of these things that are called neurodivergence, all the neurodivergence. It's not a down, it's not a poor me, right? It's a superpower. It's a way of seeing the world that took me a lot of levels, a lot of experience points, a lot of grinding to get to this level. So explain to me, once you hit a certain level and you learn dissociation is a key factor in making decisions. And this is why. Welcome to my TED Talk. Once you hit a certain level and you unlock dissociation, and I'm calling it dissociation because I explained this to somebody recently, and they said, tell me you dissociate without telling me you dissociate. And so here's the deal. You've hit a certain level on your screen. Heads up display. Here's the level. You boop. All right, now you've got through this awakening. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not just like an update, right? It's all of these things that you've gathered with yourself, all of these little things that are now weave their way into being all relevant to each other. There's conspiracies, and there's correlation, and there's causation, and there's this, and there's that, and there's all this stuff, and you're here. And as long as you're at a certain level, you know that you're here. You know that you're here because you're awake. Because you are high enough level. And so you're going down through your life. Here's the dissociation part. Here's the story that I told. And then they were like, oh, it's dissociation. So you're at a level 1. You are 1. You have the ability to function with your hands as if you were in your eyeballs. You are awake and functioning. This is your avatar, and you are like Oculus hands down in front of you. You have these things, and you can do whatever you want with them, right? I don't know. That's the worst thing I could think of to do with my hands. I guess this too. Like, don't care. Why is that the thing for don't care? I don't know. I like when things go like that. Anyway, I digress. You get in the 1, right? But you come up to a situation where you question yourself, right? And so you question yourself, and you play this little tennis game where it's called this Gestalt therapy. I read a whole book on it, In and Out of the Garbage Pail. What a weird way I got that book. So I digress. You gotta watch the hand motions, right? So we're coming back together. You're in a 1. You can function with your hands. You can communicate effectively if you're in a station 1. So let's get into that. Okay. All right. And so in station 1, if you run into any trouble, you have yourself. You have this metacognition. You have the voice of God. You have your higher power. You have Tyler Durden. You have someone that you can zoom out of, and you can look down and you can see your avatar, and you can be like, wait, meta. You wake up, and then you create these 2 voices that ask each other that you are at court. Basically, the 1 is the judge, and you are the 2 lawyers, and you need evidence. You need this. You need to battle it out, right? And if you cannot, you come up to this thing, and you're just like doing it a lot, right? Then you do it again. Pull out 1 more time and get to the 3, because the 3 is so powerful. It's the first prime number after 1, right? The creation of 1, then the 2, the babies, the opposing forces, the 2, right? 3 is like blows your mind. Right? Because 3 can look at the 2 and see what is happening with the 2. Like, let me see, they're arguing, but what does their arguing look like? It's like a third party. And it's not the 1, right? The 1 is past that. It's the 1, the 2, and then as the 3, you are still a 1 because you're a prime, and you can look at the 2s and see the 2s for what they are, and see the argument, and immediately be like, this is what we're doing. We're in 3. This is the answer. This is what we're doing. Or no, nothing. Weigh the pros and cons of doing nothing as well. That's the yellow lightsaber, folks. That's the yellow lightsaber, folks. And then, but don't get stuck in 3, because the problem is, if you have a creative brain and you go into 3, you will create 3 people. Like they will naturally become these people. Once they start talking to each other more and more, you'll get a 2. You'll get a second voice that you feel like is maybe a Tyler Durden type situation, or it's maybe you do get checked for schizophrenia. I did. My mom checked me. Everything's fine. This is the Big Bang theory saying. Are you crazy, or are you just really smart? Not crazy. We're all a little crazy. Breathe a little. Because you get stuck in, it's like now part of my meta suit here is that I have the button that clicks back in, first person perspective, second person perspective, third person perspective, and it goes. And why is 4 not great? Because 4 is 2 2s, and they will fight and then become 2 that just need to fight. Because if one of them is like, if there's 4, 4 just becomes 2 almost immediately. So it is, if you have 5, a 5th is potentially just 3 waiting to happen because of the 4. Can you follow that? If you're visualizing blocks and like cubes that can like loop into each other, then you're gonna have a better time understanding this. If you can think of like perspectives, you are in a video game, right? In this whole simulation theory, right? I will be the simulation theory cult leader. in the multiverse, I feel like I am, and sometimes I think that when you drop into 2, and I'm gonna give you my tool here. If you drop into 2, here's my dichotomous key, right? It's also an inch. Yes, I've heard the penis jokes. It's that big on a good day, man. So you're faced with a decision. The penis joke threw me off. What was I saying? I don't remember. Ready? Ask the class. Does anyone in here remember what I was saying? We were talking about when you come up to a decision, when you come up to a 2. That's why you were using the dichotomous key, but you wanted to talk about it first. But I can't remember the rest of it, so why don't you just tell people about your tattoos? That'd be a good way to wrap it up. I'm going to tell people about my tattoos. Here's my tattoo story. I have the dichotomous key, which is the decision-making process. I have the Platonic Solids / Sacred Geometry / Dungeons and Dragons dice. And all 3 of those people that know this and recognize them and state them, 1, it's a Rorschach test. It's going to tell me which way you're coming in, spirituality, science, or nerdom. Any of those 3 people are my people. This was a choice that I made that I hold to. I got it at the Rochester Tattoo Expo. I think it's the 2nd year. The first year I went and got a tattoo, it was May the 4th, and I got the Jedi Order tattooed right there. Right? It matches this one, which is a plus sign, not a cross. But when you bend your elbow, see it's a plus sign? Oh, it's a cross. It's a plus sign, it's a cross. Why is it a plus sign? Because a lot of my friends were getting equal signs. And they were like, we're equal to everybody. And I was like, I'm better than everybody. And I would like to continue to better myself and become more and more and more every day. Like crank those numbers, right? Experience points here. So I got a plus sign in Canada as my first tattoo ever because I couldn't really think of anything, but it was like, hey, let's go get tattoos. And I was like, sure, why not? I wear this necklace a lot and it's a plus sign. And right after that, I lost it. So I lost it at Rachel Matzenbacher's house that she was babysitting for or something like that. She was like dog sitting or house sitting or something like that. And I was the boy that came over and slept there. You ever like look back and you're like, oh, that's a different, you can like look at the other narratives at the same, like, cause you can't see with the extra time, right? You're just coming on your timeline and everything is happening, right? I guess for you it's this way. For you it's this way. For me it's to the left. I always put time, I throw time to the left. Why? It's weird because time shouldn't be on a timeline like that. It should be like all these atoms that are like all these, it's like a refresh rate, right? Like it's like, are you still here? Are you still here? Are you still here? Are you still here where you should be, right? Because if you moved a apple from one place to another, that place where it used to be is asking if it's still there, and it's not. So it's not. But where the apple is, it is. So the particles that are asking if there's an apple there, there is an apple there. And way down, it depends on how many pixels you are into. Way down, right? Like the atomic proton, neutron, like you can, every single point in this entire simulation, like this point here, oh, yep, there, or like that point, or like the point over there, every one of those you could take a microscope and go, woo, and just like dive in and like see crazy as shit, right? So that just means that this entire thing is like a big Minecraft but like tiny pixels, right? And so we're just, each thing that is created out of matter is a yes and not a no, because there is, yes, there is something here, and no, there is nothing right there, right? But there's air, and it, I think the humans, they just kind of look out and they think that there is nothing between here and here, right? But there is, and you can feel it if you like throw it at yourself. It's like the air has what was there. Like you do this in a pool where you like at somebody like this, and it like sends that current at their body. You do that with air, like, right? So there is things there, and it is a blend of all of these things that are just like invisible. And so their coding is invisible. Thank God, because if not, we wouldn't be able to see. Or maybe just our eyes are able to see through it. You think that there are some type of organism that sees oxygen? That would be upsetting for them. Well, from my frame of reference, that would be upsetting for them. Okay, let's focus. Did I say all my tattoos? Let's go in order. Canada, like 18, 19, first trip out of the country. Went to that like tourist trap right there on Niagara Falls, and like saw Niagara Falls for the first time. Like I'd never seen it New York side, so when I saw it Canada side, I was like, oh shit, no wonder they have like an amusement park here, whereas on the New York side we have a state park, because you can't see that horseshoe of like iconic like Niagara Falls from the New York side. You're on that side, and then it drops off. So if you want to look at it, you have to be in Canada. So yeah, I went there, and then I was like, let's get a tattoo. It was cool. Bam. Second tattoo was, so that was very like, I just want to better myself all the time, like just be like moving forward, like progressive, let's do this, right? And so then when I started doing that more often, I had like years between this tattoo and the next tattoo, right? And so I started trying to better myself more and more and more, and I just found that I became sort of a reluctant leader, if you will, where it was like, I have enough self-image problems to be like, don't listen to me, but I also have enough of like my grandpa and like trying to be a teacher and things like that, that I'm like, but here's, if you were listening to me, this is it, but like, I'm not someone you should listen to. Go away, right? This is actually kind of bothering me. Do you see that? I see that as bothering me. I hate when there's hair on my ears. I don't know what it is. But I also like kind of want to like get more hair. I don't know if I would look good with more hair. So my next tattoo was more of like I need to be my own leader, because it was like, as soon as you get into male world and like bettering yourself, and like you get in this like, there's like competition coming around, and at that time I'm like in the dating pool, so like that I'm seeking things that other people are seeking, and there's like, you know, there's like that whole mating time of your life where that stuff happens. And so I got a tattoo that now I call my douchebag tattoo, right? But it was to remind myself that not only should I be better, but I should be my own leader, and don't be a follower or anything like that, right? So for $300 in the basement of my friend's house, they tattooed the alpha male symbol on my back. Yep. And so now I call it my douchebag tattoo, because yeah. And then that was it for a while. And then I got my Jedi tattoo on May the 4th, which was about mindfulness, right? Mindfulness. I'm getting better. I'm the leader of my life. And now I need to make sure that I'm being mindful of the fact that what a better leader actually is, right? So I got that. And then for funsies, because the person I went to the expo with was getting a tattoo, the guy next to me was like, had really good line work, and I was like, well, what he was like, what have you been thinking about? And I was like, I saw this thing on Pinterest, right, in my like for you page, right, of Pinterest. So it's like, and it was this, right, and it was just in a line, and it was gray, and it looked really cool. And I just like showed it to them, and because I wanted something that wasn't just mindful, but was like expansively mindful. Like let's think of all this stuff I think about. Like I want a piece of that on my body somehow. So yeah, this is, you know, these are all, aside from a sphere, right? If you press gravity all equally on all parts of something, it will have the same probability, like a dice, of every angle will be equal until you get to like sphere. So these are, you know, these are the building blocks of life. And so it was really, and it just attracts, you know, really good conversations and pieces like these ones. All these ones back here, I was like, I don't have tattoos. I can't see them in a mirror. But so this was the first one that I was like, oh hey, I have a tattoo. And people will talk to you from front and like, right. So then I got the dichotomous key, and it was a birthday present. And I always say I don't know if I was ready to get it, because it was a big idea, like to diverge, right? To move to the idea of being two and going back into one, or being one, being able to go back into two. This is a separation. This is, yeah, that was big. I also wanted it to be practical, so it is 1.5 inches, and they did really good with their line work, and yeah, that was big. So this one and this one were a year apart. This one and this one were a year apart at the expo. This one I think was like maybe a year or two later, and then friends of ours came into the city for a Philly thing, and we were like, hey, let's get they're getting tattoos. You were gonna go. You want to get a tattoo too? It was like, all right, one of those like Canada things. Like we got tattoos together, which was really cool, right? So Virginia and I both got tattoos based on time. And so Virginia is a chef, and she got a little sprig of thyme in the same sort of fashion as the rest of her tattoos. And so she's got flowers all over her, and they kind of all look similar. And so she's got this little sprig of thyme on her ankle. And I got my birth order through my my last name, Crane. So the Cranes came over in 1632. They founded New Haven, Connecticut, bought it from the Quinnipigs, and what would become just below Yale, there's a little nine block of things, and so they bought that and blah blah blah. And it was really cool to have a book that would just like tell me all of these things and be like, you're the firstborn of a secondborn of a firstborn, and be like, wow, you've been here 13 generations. That's crazy. So I just wrote it in a cool way. 3 rows of 4 numbers, and then 1 all the way down. Like the whole row is me being the firstborn. And so and it says established 1632, and it's on my ankle, on the inside of my ankle. So I'll probably get another one maybe after the wedding. I think between wedding and baby, I'm gonna get a tattoo, I think. Yeah. So it is almost 25 minutes, and that is, I feel like, it's perfect little episodes. I'm gonna throw this up on YouTube, but not coffee with, because I don't know if I'm gonna coffee anymore. I stopped coffee withing, if you noticed. Why? I don't know. Sometimes I'm not talkative in the morning. Sometimes, like even this, you were here at the beginning. This talking did not come, right? Like when I sit down with my therapist, all of this can come out, because he leads me through like, hey, how's it going? Like, you know, last time we were talking about this and stuff. And then it's like, hey, how's your week? Like I talk to him every week. So it's all of these things that happen during the week. I just like run through, and I'm like, oh, this is how my week went. And then after that, it's like, well, we have 35 minutes left to talk together. So why don't we start talking about like how, you know, the levels and the, I don't think it's, I mean, let's get back in here. All right. Be aware of time and let these nice people go.